Assalamu alaikum. So we're going to do Hadith number 7 today. Hadith number 7 from your syllabus, Islamiyat 2058 for O levels, your paper 2, and the first question is based on Hadith. This is Hadith number 7. It's based on individual conduct. Now, what is the Hadith? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qila يا رسول الله أي الناس أفضل فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مؤمن يجاهد في سبيل الله بنفسه وماله. It was said, O Messenger of Allah, who is the most excellent of men, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and give him peace, said, the believer who strives hard in the way of Allah and with his person and his property. Teachings within the Hadith. The best amongst people. Who are the best amongst people? Mu'min performs jihad with nafs, in other words, oneself, and mal. Who are the best amongst people? The Prophet is asked a question that who is the best amongst people? So the Prophet answers, the mu'min who performs jihad with his nafs, in other words, with his own self, and mal, and with his wealth or his property. To understand, you must understand the word jihad. It is from the root letters jahada, jim, ha, dal. To struggle, it means to struggle, to strive, your utmost effort or utmost struggle. So Muslims believe all efforts are to please Allah. It's a Muslim belief that all efforts to please Allah. Like whatever we do, if we are struggling and striving and even just praying, then that should be totally for Allah, not to show off. If we are struggling and striving to preach, then it should be for Allah. Whatever we do should only be to please Allah. Even if we're paying zakat or sadaqat, it should be to please Allah only. All religions believe in sacrifice. All religions believe in sacrifice to please the deity. Like whichever religion you search about, it is clear that in every single religion people sacrifice. There's a concept of sacrifice, self-sacrifice, sacrifice of their mal, their wealth, sacrifice of food. Just if you can see, the last pointer is sacrifice of different things. For example, food. Hindus take foods to their idols. That's their concept. Wealth is sacrificed, and time is also sacrificed. If you see priests and Sufis that belong to Islam and nuns, they sacrifice their entire life just to please Allah. Basically, they devote their lives for Allah. Now, the most precious thing one can sacrifice. What is the most precious thing? You know, we have values in our lives. The most precious thing one can sacrifice, what is that? The last and most precious thing one can sacrifice is one's own life. So struggling with one's own life for Allah, for example, dedicating your whole life for preaching, dedicating your whole life for practicing, even practicing Islam, or dedicating your life for war. And sometimes when it's war, fi sabilillah, and then you die in the process, you become a shaheed, you're a martyr. But even if it's not like that, if you are preaching, you spend your whole life preaching, and you also have a job on the other side, but you also spend your time preaching also. You're a practicing Muslim. You struggle and strive the whole of your life to be a practicing Muslim. That will also be jihad, basically. You are performing jihad with your nafs, with your own self. Now, giving money and wealth for dawah process or preaching Islam is jihad. When you spend your wealth for dawah or for preaching Islam, or at that time it was they used to spend their wealth for war, jihad, in which qital fi sabilillah, they used to give their mal, the companions. So that is also considered sacrificing your wealth. Dawah, what is dawah? Spreading of Islam, basically, preaching Islam. Dawah is you invite non-Muslims to Islam, and preaching Islam is when you preach Muslims. Why? The most loved in our lives is myself and wealth, and my wealth, basically. Why is it called? Why is this person known as the best person? Because rising above yourself and rising above the love of your wealth it requires a struggle, a huge struggle with your mind and your, soul. So that's why that person who struggles and strives with his own self and his wealth, he is the best person amongst Muslims, amongst mankind. Sacrificing life is very difficult, as it is everyone's desire to stay alive. It is one desire that will only be fulfilled in the next life. Every single desire that a human has on earth is fulfilled, like the desire to eat, the desire to drink, the desire to sleep, any type of the desire of companionship. Everything is fulfilled here. But every single person, whether they're very old, near to death, everyone desires to stay alive. This is the only desire that has been kept for the next world, and it will be fulfilled there. No one will ever die in the next life. Spending wealth. How can you spend your wealth? For preaching, books. For preaching, you can spend your wealth for preaching, managing, the air tickets, or accommodating people, spending for books, or on a masjid, or giving sadaqah for dawah, to invite non-Muslims to Islam, to support a Muslim army. If you remember in Tabuk, and then if you remember in 1965, the Pakistan war, people would give the Pakistan army food from their own homes, make small packets of food and line up in the streets and offer them food. So spending your wealth fi sabilillah would be like that. There's a hadith: guarding of the borders day and night is more valuable than a month of fasting and prayer. This is hadith, is the saying of the Prophet. He is telling us that, like the Pakistan army, they day in and day out, they guard our borders. It is more valuable than fasting for a whole month or praying for a whole month. Because it's a very difficult job basically. Anyone whose feet get covered in dust in Allah's cause will not be touched by hellfire. Like if fi sabilillah, if you've got your feet get dirty, in war or in traveling for preaching, then you will not be touched by hellfire. Teachings into action. How can these teachings be brought into action? This is the B part of question 1. Sacrificing bit by bit daily, jihad on a daily basis, which is difficult because we are so used to our, relaxing and luxurious lives, that sacrificing bit by bit daily, jihad on a daily basis. We have to, sacrifice, things that we don't like. Things that we do like, we may have to sacrifice them, like, my mobile, spending my time on my mobile or on my PlayStation, my Xbox, or social media, and neglecting namaz. I have to sacrifice all of the things that I enjoy just so that I can struggle and strive to get my namaz done at least. Then sacrifice your time. To pray, to understand the Quran. You can you can sacrifice your time. Why? Just to pray, to understand the Quran. Take out some time in your day to understand the Quran. Ponder on Allah's creation. Even pondering on Allah's creation is also an ibadah. When you go to the northern areas and you can see Allah's creation, and literally that is one place that reminds you of Allah all the time. Then you can use your money. Pocket money, do sadaqah with it. You can do sadaqah with your pocket money. As your teenagers, naturally you don't have big bank balances, but the pocket money that you do get, at least give, like if you've got 1,000 rupees, just give 100 in sadaqah. Help those who study the Quran. You can help them with the money. You can tell your parents to help those who are studying the Quran, pay for their hostel fees or their messing fees, or for them, buying them books, arranging for conveyance. Some people can't go to a madrasa or an institute to study the Quran just because they don't have conveyance. Food and different facilities can be provided for the people who are studying the Quran. Mental and spiritual. How can you help mentally and spiritually? Struggle to avoid satanic thoughts. This struggle will be a continuous struggle to avoid satanic thoughts, evil desires and intentions and actions. Now they are going to come to you. Nobody is pure. Even a person who is the imam of the masjid, evil and satanic thoughts will also come to him. Evil desires will come to him. Evil intentions, actions. A person is enticed by Satan. So you have to, it's a mental and spiritual jihad in which you have to get rid of them. If they come to you, recite Auzu Billah and with a conscious effort try to ward them off. Struggle with your nafs to do good. Try to develop a good akhlaq and try to fix your intentions, keep good intentions, and also strive to contribute in voluntary work, because voluntary work is very difficult. Everybody wants to get paid nowadays. Everything is about how much you're going to pay me, how much are you going to pay me. When you volunteer for something, that is rising above your nafs, basically, when rising above the love of wealth. When you volunteer for any issue, any aim, and that is a proof that you are rising above the love of yourself and the love of your wealth. This is the type of question that you get. P1, question 1, choose any 2 of the following hadiths. You're going to be given 4 hadiths. The part A will say describe their teachings about what Muslims believe, and explain how Muslims can put these teachings into actions, because you have to do 2. It's divided. You'll do the A and A part together. You'll answer the A and A part together, and then you'll answer the B and B part together. Thank you. I hope that is sufficient enough.